Synchronicity University has an incredible jam-packed March season coming up. And for a very limited time, you can choose your tuition rate, 5-week courses with me. I'm finally back after 2 years away, and Zamboni Funk and Celeste Brooks. You add to this an incredible speaker series, which includes superstar astrologer Maurice Fernandez. Well, you can see here that there's so much to look forward to and even more. Choose your tuition rate on now at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links are in the description below. Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of February 4, 2024. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boy, is this a very special time. And it truly is special. I think a lot of us are going to be feeling this energy as we enter this week. And that energy can be described as Aquarian vibes. Now, of course, culturally, when we think about Aquarius, we think about, of course, this idea of peace and unity and love, and that could be part of it. But the thing is that this week, the energies are shocking in some cases, the kind of surprises and jolts that we might very well feel deep within. But there's also an intensity here as well. And as much as Aquarius is a very social energy, it is about the collective and connecting with other people, feeling connected to others based on shared interests or identities. And this is also the sign of the acquaintances as well. And knowing that those connections can be very valuable in the context of a given moment. And yet it is a sign with a very strong duality, which means at once it is also hyper individualistic as well. And when we feel these Aquarian vibes, as much as we want to get along with everybody, we also are perfectly okay going our own way. Now, if we're lucky, we get these split-second moments where we get to check in with ourselves. Is our act of rebellion coming from a genuine place of knowing that we are worthy of being ourselves and having an understanding of what it means to be authentically ourselves, even if that isn't necessarily, or we don't necessarily find ourselves in environments where that's completely accepted and completely approved of. But it's another thing to be a rebel without a clue. Now, I know a little something about that. That was me as a teenager. And so I know what that is, to just feel as if you want everything to be different and you want it different right now, and to let that energy of rebellion sort of come right to the surface and have it come out in spaces and places where it actually is safer than honoring ourselves, listening to ourselves. And where it is that we choose to be ourselves, that is the act of rebellion. Because so often in so much of life, and for so many of us out there, we make compromises as we move through our lives. Now, sometimes those compromises, we see the benefit to that, to us. That's part of getting along with others, right? And we also see the benefit to ourselves, perhaps in other ways as well, socially, for example, or to keep peace within particular environments where we want it, perhaps with our families, for example. But then there are moments where compromise just isn't going to work for us, where it feels like the last thing we actually have the ability to do is compromise. And that's the kind of energy we have here playing out now. When we talk about rebellion, we talk about Uranus, right? So we've got active Uranus energies playing out. But also, here's the thing, the very energy of Aquarian itself can be very rebellious in and of itself. And you add these very strong Plutonian vibes that are going to start to become known now as well. And it can feel as if we must assert ourselves, be authentically ourselves, no matter what. It can feel as if there's an emotional imperative and intensity behind sort of stating very clearly, no, this is who I am, and this is where you are, and you are not me, and I'm going to be me, and you can't tell me what to do. I think we may see some pretty intense desires within us sort of rise to the surface with the Plutonian vibes that are going to start to kick in this week and are only going to accelerate next week as well. And so it is now that it becomes important, to the best of our ability, to strive to check in with ourselves, because it's there that we'll know what our truth is. And not only that, what our real motivation is. Is it the performance of rebellion for its own sake to prove how independent we are? Or is it that we're truly honoring something within ourselves? The answer to that is going to be uniquely your own and is only for you to explore and to come to terms with. Now, thankfully, along with these very dramatic energies of freedom, of rebellion, of intensity, we do have the rewards of being our most authentic self, of being willing to be true to ourselves, of being willing to do things a little bit different, put ourselves out there, and to be rebellious in a way that still keeps us connected to that more loving side of ourselves. And where it is that being authentically ourselves is an act of self-love, well, that's where the blessings are just going to flow with a week like this. Remember, not everybody's going to get it, and that's okay. It's important to keep things in perspective. Your act of rebellion might be a really big deal to you. It may not look like a whole lot to others. And it also does depend heavily on the context you find yourselves in. It is an incredible thing when there is support in your immediate environment, whether that's friends or whether that's family. Creating that safe space for you to feel like you can bring that more authentic self forward, as opposed to where it is that that really is not acceptable. There are certain family cultures that are set up that way. And so it's going to be a very personal act of making the distinction, but still knowing that in your own way, where it's not performance, where it's being true to you, you will find a way to express that more authentic part of ourselves. Now, collectively with Aquarian energy, I don't know about you, but I have felt as if I have dipped into some kind of Mercury retrograde, a really weird one, where it feels as if apps are going wonky and my phone and computers and things. And I'm hearing this from other people as well. Somebody messaged me the other day and said, "Are you sure Mercury isn't retrograde?" And I was like, it's all planets go. It is all systems go right now. But I think some of us may feel that because it is going to be on Monday that Mercury is going to step into the sign of Aquarius, but that's not the key signature. Actually, the key is that as soon as Mercury moves in here, quickly moves to meet Pluto in the sky. And that is what is adding so much emotion to this moment, but it's also bringing everything right to the surface. And by everything, I mean all the impatience. We are done being what it is that we are expected to be. Something within us feels very strong that we know who we are and we are going to be it. But then the other layer here is that Mercury is mind, and thoughts around no longer willing to settle are likely to dominate our minds at this time as well. Now, there are ways to use this energy to our advantage. Because it is Pluto that speaks to the will, right? Like our own ability to harness our free will, for example, and to direct it with a single-mindedness towards the outcome we desire. Well, that's part of why it is that Pluto is sometimes associated with the occult and occult practices, including the law of attraction, which is sort of a very modernized version of occult practice. But the thing with Pluto is, if we try too adamantly to say, this is the way it is, and this is the way it's going to be, and that's it, and it's done, which is very powerful to do. But with Pluto, there isn't that sense of love and detachment behind it. That's also necessary to manifest what it is we desire. And the way that Pluto likes to operate is if you go overboard with saying, this is how it has to be, because a big, important piece of the puzzle where it comes to working the law of attraction includes surrender. It includes detachment. Yes, align yourself energetically with whom it is that you believe yourself to be, what it is you choose to experience based on energetically where you think you need to be in that experience. These are valuable ways of tapping into the law of attraction. But it works more profoundly when we connect energetically, but then we also detach from the outcome. We don't feel as if we have so much riding on a particular bet that if this doesn't work, that could really mean huge consequences that we are afraid of. That's when we're not using this Plutonian energy well. And it's when we're too adamant with the universe, instead of allowing the universe to share its wisdom with us so that we're co-creating with the universe. When we're too adamant, well, that's where Pluto especially likes to sort of tap us a little bit and say, oh yeah, that's what you think? Here's what it is. Oh yes, you think you're all the way up here? You know, maybe humility might be a good thing. And it actually is. There's a reason humility is a spiritual virtue. It's because it's almost like a necessary condition in order to live the life you've imagined. And I know that feels counterintuitive, but I think that's going to be part of the lessons that we're going to see a lot of people engaging now. And where we allow our thoughts to become very obsessive in a particular direction, well, that's really where the universe sort of shakes us up now. So that's the Pluto energy. Let's talk about the Uranus energy. It is going to be Friday for those of you in the Americas and Saturday in the rest of the world, that we are going to have a powerful new moon in the sign of Aquarius. And this new moon is going to be square Uranus with precision. The sun under the sky is square Uranus with precision. And that is that rebellious shock out of nowhere response factor that can show up for you now. And the thing with Uranus is, think about what you think could happen. It's probably going to be something that you didn't expect at all, but it can actually be something really great. With squares of Uranus, what I have found is there's a determination for transformed circumstances. We want change. We are determined to change. And because of that, we're willing to do the work that change sometimes requires. There may be frustration that things aren't changing enough. But given that this is a new moon, which is the moon and the sun both, speaking in tension with Uranus, with precision, I think that this need for change is going to feel like it comes out of nowhere based on some surprise that just kind of pops up for us now. And a lot of us are going to be feeling very rebellious under the light of this new moon. We are going to see a lot of people in our lives taking dramatic steps out of frustration, out of desire, making very profound changes. In some cases, it'll feel like it really came out of nowhere. And in some cases, we might be making those changes and it feels like it came out of nowhere for us. But it is like ripping off a Band-Aid. It is as if we know what people, places, things, situations in our lives have become untenable. We approach a deal breaker moment, and that in turn leads us to launch in new directions with brand new beginnings. Now, a lot of these energies I'm speaking about with Pluto, with this new moon and Uranus squaring the new moon, I spoke about these at length in the monthly horoscopes, which are up on my YouTube channel now. I hope that you are enjoying the look ahead at February, because this week is going to be really huge in the context of understanding just what is changing for us now, that we have stepped into an era that much more fully of Pluto and Aquarius, and this sense of diving into Aquarian energy is going to happen. It's going to feel as if in an instant, a lot of things have changed, mainly within ourselves, how we're thinking about things, what we're focusing on, what's worth focusing on, where it is that things have stagnated, where we didn't realize they had stagnated, and where now we're ready to go a whole other way. And that sense of going another way could happen in an instant. Now, if it feels as if some person, place, thing, or situation is making a decision to go another way and it affects us and we don't like it, I would say embrace it, because chances are it actually is working to your advantage. And if it is that you are somebody who's been afraid to change, afraid what other people are going to think, how other people are going to feel, there are ways to healthily engage conversation while not being overly attached to the reactions of another. And I would go so far as to say, all of us, every single one of us will have challenges in our lives. We will have moments that feel painful. And if we are fortunate enough to experience the great joys and highs that life offers, then we likely also experience the lows that life offers as well. The richness of experience that comes when you're open to the highs means that you also have to be open to the converse energy. And it is in those moments of uncertainty or sadness or pain or challenge that we learn so much about ourselves that make not only the highs more worth it, but really that's when we show ourselves what we're made of. That's when we earn a sense of not just self-respect, but a sense of whom it is that we are. It's the stuff that we know to be true about us. And you know, when it's said, and some people say, the universe will never give you more than you can handle. But there are moments and there are times that can feel very overpowering. Now, I mentioned this because of all the Pluto vibes we have this week, next week as well. And I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. But next week, it's Mars and Venus both stepping into Aquarius, meeting Pluto in the sky. Whatever intensity you think is there now, it is going to accelerate that much more once we step into next week. And with Pluto, sometimes there can be a feeling of powerlessness. But that's really when we come to understand not just what we're made of, but I would also add that sometimes, if not most of the time, almost all of the time, I can't say for sure like 100% of the time, a lot depends on your consciousness and how you're engaging your lessons, but a lot of the time, those moments of uncertainty, of pain, of disillusionment, of challenge, of sadness, they have to be there in order to set the stage for a set of circumstances or a life that we love, that we would go through all those challenges 10 times over to have that, to earn that. And yes, some blessings, we earn them. We earn them by going through the challenges. And so if it feels like there's powerful thoughts, powerful emotions happening right now, if it feels like other people are communicating things to you, talking about things to you, making decisions now that you don't like or that feel that they're so consequential to you in your life, know that that just might be exactly what you need to set the stage for something even better than you've imagined so far. I think that with a week like this, we're actually going to glimpse some of that good energy as well. And I think this is actually going to be the saving grace, which is the fact that we do have Venus in the sign of Capricorn. And Venus is going to trine Uranus. And Venus trines Uranus on Wednesday. And this trine is sweetness and light and freedom all coming together. Now, yes, love might be the great surprise that could happen at this time, but it could also be joy and pleasure and connection and ease. It could be a sense of perspective now that ends up being the great blessing under this sky. And so, yes, our alliances and group connections might be changing. We might be changing. And yet, we're going to glimpse what's good about this moment. And what's good is that what is changing, actually, we're ready for it. It's bringing in fresh energies. And those fresh energies allow us to be more fully ourselves. As we state what it is that we know to be true for us, even if it's hard to do so, we end up blessing ourselves and other people as well in ways that aren't always apparent on the surface, but absolutely are there. Now, add to all this another sweetness and light vibration that's taking place also on Wednesday in the Americas and part of Western Europe, but it is on Thursday in the rest of the world. This is going to be Mars speaking in harmony with Neptune, a type of conversation that astrologers call a sextile. An easy vibration, but it's also an empowering one. It's like we're able to see what we can do to make things better. And as a result of doing them, we experience reward. And Mars is very much a principle of action. Neptune is about faith. It's about belief and miracles. And I think with a little bit of action and a little bit of our own awareness, we can take whatever feels so overpowering, overwhelming, intense, and actually recognize the miracles that are playing out in our lives, the healing that's happening now, and even have a sense of how it is that whatever's happening could actually be very good. Now, I know I emphasized a lot of the intensity this week because I know a lot of us are going to be feeling that. So take very good care of yourself. But having said that, there are going to be some signs that may not feel themselves completely immersed in intense energies just yet. But I would say, don't you worry. If you are not feeling the surprises this week, just wait until next week and we dive that much deeper into all those energies that are at once chaotic and transformative and authentic and ultimately empowering as well. What I love about this week for us, there's so much here. It is a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I am going to say, well, look, Venus trine Uranus, it is one of my most favorite energies. Personally, I've always found I end up finding myself in situations where I'm having fun, where I enjoy myself under Venus trine Uranus. And it can be a really great energy for celebrating your unique beauty, however you understand that, however you tap into that. With the emphasis on unique, it's a great time to try new things where it comes to what you enjoy, what brings pleasure, what it is that helps you to connect with an energy of beauty. However you do that, go shopping, get your hair done, or something more permanent like getting a surprise tattoo or something. These are just some possible scenarios and ways in which you might want to tap into this energy. I would be remiss if I didn't say I wouldn't go quite that far if it is that you are somebody where that Aquarian energy is hitting strong. And so if you are an Aquarius sun, moon, or rising, or any of the fixed signs really, which include Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio, that's where I think the greater emphasis is going to be on all that Pluto, on that new moon, on what's so uncertain. However, for the other signs, you'll be able to tap into that Venus trine that much easier with Uranus, but really everyone can find moments of benefiting, moments of experiencing ease and freedom, but also validation. That could come from outside of you. It might be within you. But there is a sense now of feeling truly connected to the things that you like about yourself, but also summoning a certain focus, a certain determination to be it more fully and to live it that much more. Well, thank you so much for watching. What do you love about this week? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading you guys, and to prove it to you, here's some of my most recent favorite comments. Thank you to everybody who likes, who comments, who subscribes, who shares a thumbs up. All of it means so much. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. And of course, if you want to know how all this wonderful stuff this week speaks to you in your sign, log on to NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, where you get expanded exclusive video scopes each and every week for as low as just $3 a month. But choose your membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Synchronicity University has some incredible programs coming up this March, and you've got just a couple weeks left to choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class, an unheard of rate to learn from all of these truly incredible teachers and speakers. And oh my goodness, this March is going to be lit at Synchronicity University. So I'm going to start with me. After 2 years away, I am back with my own course, a 5-week course. And this is called Outer Planet Transits, Times of Change, Fate, and Pain. And so Pluto just entered my 8th house again. So if you know anything about astrology, you know, yes, we can go there. We can talk about change and fate and pain, and we can look at outer planet transits and look at how to make the most of them by understanding what is happening with you archetypally, but also how to actually make the most of this time by incorporating the lessons and being open to the possibilities. There's a proactiveness to working with these transits. I am going to be sharing brand new material. So I haven't shared it on my YouTube channel before or in any class before. Brand new mythologies on the outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And I will also be looking at brand new celebrity charts as well. So if it is that you've taken classes with me before, you might know there are certain myths I really like. We're going to leave those to the side for a minute. You might know that there's also certain celebrity charts I really like. We're going to leave those to the sides as well. So we'll be looking at things with fresh eyes and fresh perspective. And right now you can actually get, for that very low rate of just $5 a class, some previous class packs that are available on the same page as add-ons to this course at synchronicityuniversity.com. So one of them is a 6-class package that I previously taught on Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And so that is looking at origin myths and the celebrities that I know and love through astrology. And so you'll have that as the other layer if you'd like to. But of course, you don't need that background in order to make the most of this course that I'm going to be teaching. Also, if you are really brand new, I've also got a Foundations to Astrology pack that is available, and you can get that as well as an add-on at just $5 a class. So check all of that out. I'm really looking forward to this class. I am back at Synchronicity University. It is going to be lit as part of a very lit March 2024, only at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links are in the description below. Synchronicity University presents the one and only Zamboni Funk. Zamboni is back, and this time with his own course. Now this, talk about proactive, using astrology effectively. It is about understanding what astrology can do, what it can tell us, but also what it can't. And based on what it can tell us and how it can empower us, go about using it right. That's really key here. And Zamboni goes through so many different layers, the history, the astrophysics of it, the practical techniques of it. And he has this wonderful, engaged way of teaching, of understanding that I think you're absolutely going to love. And so Zamboni makes content regularly online. If you follow him, he's amazing. He brings a lot of love, but also a whole lot of wisdom to his practice and to his teachings, as well as you are going to see. So learn more. Sign up now at synchronicityuniversity.com for Zamboni Funk's class. Very limited time left to choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class from Zamboni Funk at Synchronicity University, and links are in the description below. Synchronicity University presents the one and only Celeste Brooks. I love Celeste so very much. Celeste really is someone who brings so much love and wisdom to her astrology. And this is a class that I think a lot of people are going to love. It's called Moon Mastery. It is a 5-week course just looking at the moon. I think the moon just might be the most important symbol in the astrology chart because it speaks to emotional equilibrium. What we need to be at peace with ourselves, to feel at home in our world, but also within ourselves as well. And when it is that you feel at home within you, so much of the world opens up, and opportunity and happiness and more from that space. Well, It is going to be Celeste that's going to help you to understand this very important symbol in the astrology chart. And this 5-week course on the moon is going to help you to understand yourself and others and working with the moon and understanding the different transits and things that can happen that change your understanding of your emotional reality and what you need. This is a class not to miss with the one and only Celeste Brooks. Oh my God, I am so excited about this because of the importance that the moon has. What a special course that's coming only to Synchronicity University. Links are in the description below. And remember, you've got just a few weeks left to choose your tuition rate to learn from Celeste Brooks. Synchronicity University has an incredible March 2024 speaker series coming up. And this is very special, not to be missed as well. You've got a limited time left to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class, an unheard of rate to learn from this caliber of astrologer. And I'm going to start with our superstar for this session, for this series. Although all of these incredible astrologers are superstars, we do have the one and only Maurice Fernandez coming to Synchronicity University. Now, Maurice Fernandez is one of the leading evolutionary astrologers on the planet today. He's the author of several books and articles and so much more. He's an award-winning astrologer. And so we are so fortunate to have him. And he is going to help us to understand the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that's coming up, right? This is a huge astrological event for 2024. It's taking place the 20th or 21st of April, depending on where you are on the planet. But yes, an entire 90-minute talk just on this symbol is a really big deal from the one and only Maurice Fernandez. I mean, just for that, this session is off the hook. But we also have all these incredible other speakers as well. Victoria Al-Maradi. Victoria Al-Maradi is doing children's astrology, and she's going to help you to understand how to approach children's charts. I loved my conversation with her. That'll be publishing soon this week. And really, she just has an understanding of how to use astrology to help the children in your life to understand them as well. And so she's going to be exploring that in her talk that I'm really looking forward to. And she's funny and she's engaging and she's smart. So this is a class not to miss. Catherine O'Connell, Dreams Are the Medicine. So this is about understanding the symbolic power of dreams and how they reveal what medicine you may need in terms of your spiritual journey, your soul's journey, and how your dreams really point the way towards your betterment in all kinds of ways. So exploring the power of that is what Catherine is going to be looking at. Fernando Guimaraes is going to be looking at solar arc directions. This is such a big deal. Solar arc directions are a key predictive technique. They look at the evolution of planets in your chart. And this is one of those things that a lot of astrologers use to help us to understand when big life changes are taking place or will be coming up. And I have found the power of solar arcs to be just such a standout tool. So much of life can change when a big planet changes signs in the solar arc chart. So if you don't know what that means or you have a little bit of an idea, don't worry. Nando's going to help you to learn all of that. He is a very active, proficient astrologer. He's a Brazilian astrologer as well. So I'm so happy to be featuring him at Synchronicity University as part of the speaker series of March 2024. Leanne McCafferty is going to be teaching on the IC-MC axis, helping you to understand the IC, which is the most private part of the chart, and the MC, which is the top of the chart, the most visible part of the chart, and what this says about what's happening within, but also where it is you aim to go, you hope to go, what your legacy and destiny just might be. So understanding the contrast, the polarities playing out here is what she's going to explore in her talk. I think it's going to help you to understand these key symbols and chart points in your chart with greater depth and nuance as well. So you can see here, we have an incredible March 2024 speaker series coming up. You have a limited time left to choose your tuition rate, as low as just $5 a class, to learn from these incredible astrologers only at synchronicityuniversity.com. Links are in the description below. And thank you. Thank you so much for this moment with you. Thank you for your trust. I'm so grateful for it. I am still in Brazil Next weekend is Carnival, and I can already feel Rio de Janeiro just buzzing. It is buzzing. And so Carnival, I'll share all of that stuff in my social media, usually in my Instagram stories. So I hope you'll check that out if you are so inspired. But really, it's one of those things not to miss in a lifetime. So they say, I know it's going to be incredible. Last year, I caught like the very tail end, but this time I'm here for the actual Carnival weekend. So looking forward to it. And I have people that I'm going to be meeting this week. Brand new people who reached out to me and said, Nadiya, you're in Rio, so am I. Can I meet you? And I'm looking forward to that as well. And of course, if you are in Rio, if you find yourself here and you want to have a moment to have some ice cream, to have a hug, I would be very happy with that. I'll tell you, I have always believed that the world is abundant in love. I remember I've had many a profound conversation with many a Uber driver. I'm sure if you've watched me for a while, it's not the first time I've talked to you about Uber drivers and profound conversations. One driver more recently, he said to me, like, some people say there's only like one great love in life. And, there's really just that one person for you. What do you think? And I said, I think that the universe and the world is abundant in love. Like, no way there's only one great love or something. Everywhere I go in the world, I feel an abundance of love. And one part of the way that I feel that and affirm that is just realizing how many people watch me when I travel and want to connect with me. And so please don't be shy. Reach out. Victoria Almaretti that I just spoke about with the March speaker series, she is in Argentina. She's based in Argentina. And so she said, you were in Argentina and I really wanted to meet you, but I didn't want to bug you and I didn't want you to think I was weird or something. And I said, you should have just reached out. Like, I would have loved to meet you in person because I loved getting to know her online. And so, yes, reach out. It's always, always a lovely thing to connect with friends and fans and superstars and students while I'm on the road. But even when I find myself in spaces and places where there isn't necessarily somebody there, although there pretty much always has been, but if it should be the case, even outside of that, yes, there's an abundance of love in the world. And everybody wants to experience love. Sometimes we go about ways that are really, kind of all over the place, make it look like that isn't the case. But I know that all of us want and need love. It is a part of the human journey to know love more fully. And there's such an abundance of it. So wherever you are in your life right now, I hope that you are being more aware of the love on offer to you now. And yes, there will be carnival celebrations and dancing happening for me. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you for this moment with you. Thank you for your trust. I am so truly grateful for it. And thank you again for watching. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.